Hi, my name is Scott Artley, and I'm the Accessibility Program Director at the Metropolitan Regional Arts Council. I use he, him pronouns. And my job is to work with applicants to put together strong proposals to apply for funding from the Minnesota State Arts Funding System. So the Metropolitan Regional Arts Council, also known as MRAC, improves arts access to communities in the 7-county metro region through support to artists and organizations. So we support all the counties that include and surround the Minneapolis-St. Paul core metro. We serve nonprofit organizations, informal arts groups, community education units, government, non-arts, nonprofits, all with arts programming expenses under $400,000 a year, so small and medium-sized arts organizations. And then we also serve individual artists who are just starting out their career or advanced in their career to help them take the next step in their career. The population of our region is 50% of the state's total population, even though the region is only 4% of the geography overall. So a very dense area and lots of artists and arts folks to support. We receive money mostly from the Minnesota State Legislature through a general fund and the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. So we have dollars from that we distribute out to communities. And then we also get money from the McKnight Foundation for our individual artist program. We have 3 programs right now that MRAC works with to help applicants get dollars to support arts access. The first is called Flexible Support, which are grants up to $15,000 available to groups to help them create access to the arts in our region. And then we also have a smaller program, the Equity Response Program, which is grants up to $2,500 for groups led by communities, BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous, People of Color-led groups, LGBTQIA2+ or queer-led groups, and or disability-led groups. And the Next Step Fund is $5,000 to individual artists in our region. And I'll pass it over to Kin to tell you a little bit more about what it means to help us in panel service.
Hi everyone, my name is Kin U. My pronouns are she, her, and I work at MRAC as the panel manager. So the way we get our funding out is we recruit panelists to thoughtfully evaluate applications and submit scores and comments to our board of directors. We would not be able to get our grants out without our panelists, so it's a really crucial role in our process. We seek panelists who are artists, work, or volunteer in the arts, or are arts enthusiasts. Our goal is to recruit panelists who reflect the diversity of the 7-county Twin Cities metro area. We're happy to make any accommodations you might need to serve. So this could mean accepting voice recordings of your scores and comments, reducing the number of applications that are assigned to you, or reimbursing a caregiver to assist you with the panel process. I'll just give a quick summary of what signing up for a panel is like. So throughout the year, people can email me and let me know that they'd like to serve in a panel, and then I'll let them know when the next opportunity to serve is. So since last March, we've been hosting all of our panels online. So the way we do that is we host a webinar orientation where we share about the specific grant program and then talk about the panel process. So that happens through our online grant interface. We share the applications with you. You have, panelists have about a month to read and evaluate them, come up with scores and comments, and then submit them. So the only real kind of face-to-face interaction we have is through this orientation. But like I said, we have different options for adjusting our panel process to make it accessible for you. So if you're interested, just reach out and we're happy to figure out something that will work. So I'll hand things over to Bryan now to talk about our partnership with Cal Tipping Press in 2020.
Yeah, and my name is Bryan, he, him, and I'm here to say that when the rubber meets the road, MRAC is into making things work and making them accessible and blazing new trails to diversify its panels. Cow-tipping, the program I run, is about changing our narratives on disability, especially intellectual and developmental disability, making connections and giving folks the opportunity to see this as a valuable, enriching form of human diversity. And in that role, I've been asked before to do things like serve on an MRAC panel. And that's great, and I've done it, and I've learned so much from it. But in the process, I saw that a lot of the organizations we were evaluating were organizations that served people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and were seeking funding to put on arts programming and stuff. And I realized that we didn't often or rarely had folks with disabilities like that sitting around the table making those panel decisions themselves. So after some conversations with MRAC, we found a way to pilot having someone who has served in one of our programs and is an artist herself, lives in a group home, might have less traditional literacy skills than we might think of. But she was game and excited and willing to serve as a panelist for a grant process in the last year. And that looked a little different. That meant that someone, one of her support staff actually, who worked with her in the group home, kind of sat down a few nights a week with her and read through the applications with her. Maybe she would read some aloud, they would discuss some of it, but really work to center this individual's perspective and voice, and help her make decisions about really important things: who should be funded and who should not, whether that's folks that are serving populations with disabilities or not through the arts. And that was fantastic. We learned a lot from it. And one of the things we learned is that we have to do intentional outreach to disability communities to keep blazing those trails and to keep making the road by walking, as it were. And so that's what we're doing here. This is targeted to folks maybe who are part of the cow-tipping community or definitely beyond it, especially who have intellectual and developmental disabilities and are artists or do the arts in some way and want to help get a little bit of money, make some really important decisions, and contribute to their community in helping to decide where state arts funding goes.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Kim, for telling us about the process and how Cow-tipping partnered with us in the past year to do that. As I said, I'm the accessibility program director, so it's my job to take the resources of MRAC and put them into community in a way that is the most accessible to people of all abilities, including people with and without disabilities. And I've been really excited to see the transformation that this organization has had, even in just the last year, has been very profound. We have people with disabilities on the board of directors. I'm a person with disabilities on staff. And we have so many applicants and panelists who also identify as being a person with disabilities or disabled. So I'm really excited to invite anybody who's interested to come along with us and participate. As Brian said, contribute to your community in a new way as a panel member. And I will show you how you could take that first step on our website. So this is the MRAC website, mrac.org. It's the homepage. And if you look here, you can learn more about us. Here's some beautiful pictures from past things that MRAC has funded, including in the up right corner, there's in this collage of photos, there's one that includes a group of people that was from a focus group of people with disabilities to who we met with to talk about how we might make MRAC more accessible, which is cool. So there's me and there's Rocky the dog. So in the navigation bar of our website, you can go to the About section, follow that down to Panelists, and that's where you can learn more about what it means to be a panelist. There's a web page here that includes a photo in the upper left-hand corner of 4 people reading quietly at a table. As Ken said, we do everything online now, or at least in the moment, so it'll look a little different from that, but there's information about who can serve, what are the benefits, how do you do it, and how you can get involved. So here's the list of our fantastic panelists. So the next best step is to take a look at that, get in contact with us that way. And yeah, we'd invite you to participate. Thank you so much.